Hey everybody, welcome to episode 25 of Restoration Z. If you saw episode 24, you know what problems we had with the rear wheel and the bearings. I now have a tool that should make this very simple. If you haven't seen the series up until now, maybe check it out. The basic problem is that I can't catch an edge on the inside to knock these bearings out. And on the opposite side, there's actually two bearings stacked. So trying to knock those two out might be rather tricky. And this is what it is, 30 quid set, it says US Pro. If you're from America, you'll probably be like, hang on a minute, isn't that just the Harbour Freight set? And it would appear that is the case. You get different sizes of these. I can take this apart to show you. See, it's a pin, and it's this which is cut into 4 segments. So as this screws in, it splays out these pieces, and there is a little bit of a bump here which catches behind the bearing, or in the case of the other side it will be between bearings. This is the slide hammer part, and a slide hammer, if you don't know, is well, basically you attach this to something and then you hit that and you bang something out rather than banging it in. That's what she said. Right, okay, you should better see it now, and I won't smack the camera if it comes flying out. Moment of truth, I really hope this works, because otherwise we're going to have issues. Okay, that pops straight out. The kit suggests using the handle to tighten it up. I'm now thinking that that is not enough. Right, try again. That seems way too hard for something that's hardened, but it's not coming out. Again, they've pulled through. You literally fight me every single step of the way, don't you? Okay, so it comes to this. We're going to weld something in there and beat it out. This is perfectly normal. This is the short, quick route of doing this rather than using loads of different tools and yada yada. I know some people might say you can use those expanding bolts, but again, that's going to expand into the tube rather than this. So, yeah, not great. So I want to be as risk-free as I can possibly be with this. I'm welding steel. This is alley, so it shouldn't be a problem because the steel and alley don't really stick when, that's why you make welding tables out of aluminium. However, I don't want to get a risk of anything getting near it, so I've come up with a plan. Where's my plan gone? That's only half the plan. Okay, so I've got the earth lead attached under here. I have a nut on the end of a rod, which I've cut to just the right length. If I get that, there we go. That it sits inside the bearing. You see it's down there, so what my aim is to weld some lumps in here on top of this that's going to give a solid surface to beat against on the other side. Oh, what I didn't show you, should I manage to not weld this bar in, I've put a crosshead in it so I can unscrew it. But anyway, we need to get that centralised and sitting about right, which is about there. Now I'm welding this with arc because arc welding will blast through contaminants, oils, rust, pretty much more than any other type of welding. I can do TIG and MIG, I've got the machines here, I can do that sort of welding, but for something like this where you just need a load of stuff in the way, this is going to be the thing. But it is spattery, so to try and alleviate the spatter, yes I know this is cardboard, it may well catch fire, but it hopefully won't. I've made a tube that fits inside there out of an old poster tube. So that goes down in there. And as you can now see, hopefully, if I weld anything that pops around and about, it's only going to land on the surface of the bearing and the inside of the bearing. But that's then protected further down by the fact that the nut's there, and you can see what's going on here. So a lot of heat got into that because it instantly started cooking that bearing, but that's kind of good. In a race or out a race, what do you reckon? Why that was so tight, I have no idea. Here's the tube that was in the middle, and now you're going to see, if we look straight down through there, we can see all of those bearings. Now this is the pair, and I didn't like the idea of trying to do both at once, but with that much, yeah, let's try it. Let's give it another go. Nine mil. Let's see if that reduces. That nearly took my camera out. That was really lucky. But what a surprise. The tool's the thing that came through. Has it moved at all? The answer is no. We're welding again, aren't we? Okay. That's how it's going to be. Right, while it's hot, I've just soaked some oil in there. Not too much though, because obviously I might have to weld the bottom one. Should have thought of that. It just blew off the top of the bearing where I welded it. It does need to be sat deeper down. Oh well, just need another nut. Listen to that. That's the sound of boiling grease and burning plastic. I'm going to leave that to cool down. I'm going to go and get some lunch. I'm starving. So getting these bearings out is turning out to be an all-day process. But we're nearly done because one is out, number two is going to come out, and number three is just going to fall out through being scared. Sorry, I had to hold back then for demonetisation reasons. Huge thanks to my Patreon supporters. Pray the inner race stays together. The nuts come loose. I'm being too shy with the amount of weld I'm putting in there. I'm not going to mess around this time. Again, I'm going to have to leave that to cool down. The amazing thing is, this bearing still turns. Another one down. I really had to pack it with weld. And yeah. Should we try the puller on the last one? You know, if this doesn't work, it's definitely going back. Because, you know, I think I may have been a bit unfair to the puller. Because, you know, it's, well, what hope did it have with all those problems? But now, this is its job. If it can't do this one thing, it's going back. Move the camera all the way out of the way. Looking down in the seats, you can see some mottling But there isn't any like obvious rust or anything like that. So God knows why. Remember what I said in the last episode, you want to make sure that the bearing seats are completely clean right down into the edges. Okay, so dry running here, making sure I've got the right tool. Make sure that's, yep, that's that bearing, that's that tool, so that'll be fine. By the way, these are seal drivers, not bearing drivers. I'm just using them wrong. Huge thanks to Colin for lending me these. But should that fail, I also have a socket. Right. The bearings have been in the freezer for a few hours, so now I'm going to go and grab one. And this is that rush thing again of trying to get it in. Let's start to fall. Where's the tool? Hammer. Perfect. It's just how you want it to go. Right, let's do the other small one, as that went so well. Clean the seat out. Then don't forget the sleeve. Okay, I've just run the axle through to make sure that that's all lined up as it should be. Right, given how tight this top one was, and the fact that I've got a thin, tall wall here, I'm just going to slightly warm the wall, and then hopefully that should give me a few more hundredths of a millimetre in expansion. The bearing's cold, we'll get it in, bam, should be a good one. Final test. Yes! Yes! I have to announce this to the world. I did it! I beat it! I am more than slightly pleased by that. And more than totally disappointed in this thing. Am I asking too much of it? Like, how light a bearing does it need to be for this thing to actually work on? Just thinking, should I have had greased in between two bearings? Maybe. Maybe not. Well, there we go. What a pain in the rear wheel that was. I'm going to leave this as a standalone episode because removing stuck wheel bearings is... There's many ways to do it. I'm sure many people will say that there's better ways I could have done this or X, Y, Z. But the job's done. It's done right. Everything's okay. The other reason I'm going to end this episode here is because I think I'm going to order a new rear sprocket and chain and front sprocket. Maybe. So it would make more sense to leave that off, rebuild the brakes, get more of the plastics on maybe, I don't know, and then catch up. The headlight, the update is, it's in San Francisco, but that was the last day it tracked 4 days ago. It is a 6 to 10 day service and it's on day 7 now. So fingers crossed, by the end of this week, this bike's going to be done. As always, a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters. To still be here on YouTube doing this after, if you remember 6 months ago, the plan ahead and coronavirus kind of sending that sideways, to get on, do this project as extensively as I have and challenge so many of the different problems you come across. I think it's not only made a really great series, I've learned a lot. It's been a fantastic experience that I could only have done with the support of my patrons and the people that have supported this channel in all the ways that you do. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this, so thank you. Good luck with your bearings. Remember, if in doubt, weld it and beat it out. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to see future videos. This channel is made possible by the support of the audience. Please consider joining my Patreon to get early access to videos, questions answered in the monthly Q&A, your name on screen, and some exclusive content, all for as little as $1 a month. You can also check out the links in the description to my merch and other ways to directly support the channel. Thanks for watching.